entertainment.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Season 2 of the Chismis Corner podcast. My name is Michael Pacifico.
My name is Stanley Lin.
And we are going to be your hosts for this year's Chismis Corner podcast, brought to you by Pitt FSA. This is kind of just going to be an introduction video for both of us, just to kind of let you guys know who we are, just a little bit of background on us and what we do. So do you want me to start off, or do you want to go?
Nah, you can start.
Okay, so
as the first original co-
yeah,
original
as
host.
the first original host. As I said, my name is Michael Pacifico. I'm studying D&ID, which is under Comp Sci, and I am a super senior here at Pitt. So, and I'm not a board member at Pitt FSA. I'm just a person that wanted to do a podcast, and I was given the A-OK. So thanks.
Just for fun.
Thank you.
Just for fun.
Just for fun. just for fun. So thanks, Pitt FSA.
I'm Stanley Lin. I'm taking over for Laika Mamaril from last year.
Rest in peace, Laika.
She graduated. She's
Awesome.
living with her
special
someone.
Yeah,
we'll dive into that later. Episodes.
She's just adulting. It's there's nothing wrong with that.
We all move on.
Yeah. You grow up.
But I'm a senior. I'm studying economics on a pre-dental track, and that's all for me, I guess.
Talk about your affiliation with Pitt FSA.
I guess I was a former board member during the COVID times. So it's 2020 and 2021. I was PR chair. It was an interesting time, awful time, but very interesting.
That's okay, man. All right. So we have a couple questions jotted down. We're gonna kind of go through them, and then right after those questions, we're just kind of just bullshit around for a little bit. But our first question is kind of geared towards how we started the podcast. And I just feel like a podcast is just kind of a cool thing to do. I mean, I feel like as students, we always have things to talk about. We have interests and things, hobbies, whatnot that we like to do. So I thought it'd be cool to have a platform that we can go and just talk about anything and everything. We do, since it is like FSA, want to have like a center towards like Filipino culture or Filipino relevance in culture or topics, but we don't want it to just be only Filipino-esque questions and whatnot, because just because you're Filipino doesn't mean that every single thing relates around that. Look at Stanley.
I'm a prime example. I am, for anyone new, I am not Filipino. I am 100% Chinese. Ooh. But I have been deemed honorary Filipino by my friend back home and his parents. I have multiple titas and titos back home. So
I would say that Stanley is more Filipino than me. So honestly, I took a whatchamacallit, a 23andMe.
Oh,
and I got I wanted to show it to one of my coworkers, and I get the email, or I look for I search it up in my email, and then I get this new email, and it's like, hey, we updated your ethnicity. I was like, what? And I look at it, and so apparently I used to be 97% Filipino. Now I'm 91.
How do you update?
It's called, for some reason they go by ethnicity estimates. That's what it's called. So they roughly think where you could be based off of your DNA or whatever. So I got 91% Filipino as my updated one, and I got 8% or 9% Chinese.
Oh,
but the ratio was like how there's the what is it, the positive negative, it could be wrong.
Yeah.
So, but it told me that the ratio went from 0% to 9%. So the at most I could have been 9%, or they could have just been I don't know, and it could have been 0. So as of right now, I'm 9% Chinese. So
genetically, you're still more Filipino than I am.
No. It's all being Filipino is not. That's not about the blood. It's about appreciation, the culture. That's what it is. That's really
that makes sense.
Yeah. So, hey man. All right, that's just a small tidbit of information, but I just wanted to share that. But yeah, I think for the next question we have, what did we do over the summer? And I think I'm gonna let you start that off. So, what did you do over the summer, Stanley?
I mean, summer is pretty boring as you get older, I would assume. I mean, it's always I think anything past as you get older, like just anything past, I say sophomore year is just work in school. I took 2 summer classes, organic chemistry and economics, passed both, which is great.
Good.
I worked a lot, made some money.
Did you stay on campus or did you go back?
I went home after finals for about 2 weeks to visit family.
Where do you live at?
Oh, I'm from Florida. Don't judge me, please. But
there it is.
I don't deem myself as a Florida man. But
no, I can see it already.
I own more winter clothes than summer clothes in my closet, and I don't go home that often. So
damn,
it's kind of an issue.
That's okay.
But yeah, summer was mostly. I went home beginning of summer break, then I went home after my classes ended. But I did go to Moonrise for you ravers out there.
Okay.
I went with Bryce, this year's current co-pres.
Okay.
It was a fun time. Probably the highlight of my summer.
All right, nice. Do you think that like, so what type of music is Is that house type, like the it's electronic whatnot?
It's like EDM, but there's multiple types of EDM. Like there's like headbangers, or just nodders and all that stuff like that. I'm not too into that, like the
genre,
like not the genre, but like I don't understand like the terms, but I just like the music. It's it's an interesting time. It's I think everybody should go at least one rave in their lifetime.
Okay. Do you think that like what does Moonrising like rank out of? Because like there's like there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of them.
I'd say it depends on the area. It depends on the area.
Let's just say in US. Is it like a top 10? Top
I don't
5?
think it's top 10.
Okay, so it's just like more of like a localized one.
I'd say like Northeast. I think it's like probably top 10 Northeast. Because you have like the Gov Ball in New York, and then you have Moonrise in Virginia.
Is Gov Ball a rave though? I thought it was like more like music festival.
It's like both ish.
Okay.
It's like all like music festival genre.
Okay.
Like Rolling Loud.
Okay. Gotcha,
Moonrise, Gov Ball.
Okay.
There's like a lot of obscure ones too, but like there's some big out there, but they're mostly on the West Coast.
Okay.
But I don't have the funds for that.
It's got the good weather for it.
No funds for that.
That's okay. All right. Anything else over the summer that you did?
I think that's about it. And it's just school and work and the occasional concert.
That's true. Over the summer, I just worked in a boba shop called Fuku Tea. Here locally at Pittsburgh. I am a Pittsburgh native. I've lived here my entire life, so not a lot of traveling for me. But yeah, I was just working a lot, making boba. I did a lot of obscure videos, but didn't turn out well, so I didn't post them. But
I didn't see you post anything on YouTube.
My first video that I did was that is boba related. Was that I did a whole week of only eating boba.
I don't recommend anyone to do that. It's not very healthy.
I thought the same thing, but I turned out fine. As long as it's a short term, type of thing, it's okay. But if I did that for like more than 2 weeks, I'd probably be a little fucked up. But that's okay. So I'm fine on that one. A couple of the other ones. So like at the boba shop, I would just like I would just ask my like coworkers random questions because I would get so bored. Because over the summer, if you ever work at any college like area, usually like the businesses just die out and you just get like the locals. And I don't think locally here at Pittsburgh, I don't think a lot of people
it's just like Pittsburgh area really, because like you get we're like more like a city, throughout city campus. So we're like Pittsburgh really thrives on like student activities, and then you have like other campuses like University of Florida where it's like just like a college campus, like a college town where it's just that university. So I think it's like more like I guess just Pittsburgh-esque. Yeah,
I guess that's true, but I just feel like the boba thing in general, it was just always dead. So I would always just try to talk to my coworkers and just figure out. I would just get really bored and just be like, "Hey, how's your day?" Even though I'd like see them less than 12 hours, like because like we would just work like the same shifts or whatever. But one thing about working there that kind of piqued my interest was that I want to make a boba video game.
What is a boba video game?
So
There's a lot of boba video games out there.
No, but that's the thing. I thought the same thing, and I looked it up. I looked up like, you know, PC, console, mobile games. There are like boba games that are like kind of relevant, but they're like, some would just be like, it's boba pieces, but in the form of like Tetris, or like it's boba themed,
so like it's like boba themed game.
Yeah, it's
like boba, it's like actual boba.
There's probably like one or two games that are actually like boba-ish type or boba-esque type style games, but like none of them are like to the level that I want to create a video.
Well, what is your level?
All right, so I'm gonna tell you what the idea for me for this game is: you start off as a create your own character, but you play like an RPG-esque style of it, where you play scenarios and storylines that like I went through while I was working at a boba shop, and you just kind of like, instead of it being me telling the story or going through everything, it's just your character.
So it's kind of like a decision making game.
It's not like a decision. So it's still gonna have like RPG elements, but like the thing is you go into the boba game, and you're a student, and you're just trying to make money. But there's two like levels that you're trying to like balance, and it's money and mental. So I think though, like there's really like quirky type of things that I want to do, but like, so to like change like difficulty or whatever, it'll be like a like Sunday through Saturday like calendar list, and it'll be like you would choose your own schedule, and that would peak the like difficulty of the game for you. But there's gonna be like exterior like factors outside of the game, like the boba-esque game, because it's an RPG. So like you'll be doing studies or like living your life outside of it. But if you're only working like one day at the boba shop, you're gonna have zero money. You're gonna probably be like your mental will go up because you're not working a lot, but you have zero money. But vice versa, if you have so much money but no time to use it, you're gonna be like mentally drained.
Also like a barista RPG.
Kind of like a barista RPG. I think it's gonna be similar to like have you ever played or like heard of like Stardew Valley? It's like
I've heard of it,
yeah,
but I have not played it.
So it's gonna have like that type of like adventure like style s to it. And then also, so like I want to make it for like a mobile game, and make like the primary, like when you are in the boba shop and you're making the like drinks or whatever, it's gonna be like a rhythm game.
Oh, okay.
But then like outside of that, you can just like control your character and interact and move whatever. But that's just a rough idea that I have. But I'm also gonna use all the my previous like coworkers are gonna be like
avatars.
They're not
NPCs.
So they're gonna be NPCs in the game. And I'm just gonna like I wanted to do a thing where like I would ask them like like what are characteristics about you or whatever, but technically I've already done that. Like I always would just like talk to my coworkers and just try to figure out what they like, or what they're into or whatever. And I think I have like a crude understanding of like their likes and dislikes, so I'm just going off of that. Like I'm not even gonna like hit them up and be like, hey, so like if I was gonna make a character like you, what would you say your best qualities or whatever, blah blah blah, are gonna be like. I'm not even gonna do that. It's just gonna be me crudely drawing them, giving them like very similar names than what they have, and then they'll just be in the boba game. And I don't know if I want to do the whole thing, because like a lot of like RPG type games will also have like the track to like either have them like you can make like best friends with them, or like you can get in relationships with them. I don't know if I want to implement that type too, but
it's like Sims.
Yeah, it's like Sims. Like if you want to whatchamacallit,
date
like
coworker.
you date a coworker, like I don't know. I think I'll probably put that in the game. So
when can we expect this game to be out?
Well, so that's the thing. So like that's like
in the future,
a 2-3 year thing,
like post grad.
Definitely a post grad thing, unless I fail and just stay here forever. But I will be graduating. Don't worry. I'm locked
Mike,
in.
why don't you tell them why you're a super senior this year?
That's a great question. So why I'm a super senior this year is I just every single time for like the past 2 years, I have been doing like full-time credits, but I always end up with like half the credits. So I've essentially been doing like half credits every semester, which, is like 2 years is actually just one for me.
Yeah.
But I am not going to be working at the boba shop this year. I'm doing a little bit of an internship, part-time-ish job that's way more relaxed right now. So I can have a lot more time to focus on studies and kind of just do creative stuff and podcasts, just like the one you're watching right now. But yeah, so that's essentially it. I literally over the summer, I just made boba.
I mean,
I made boba and then some vlogs.
that's the summer. At least you take classes over the summer.
Oh yeah,
I was taking exams.
I already knew I was mentally like drained, so
School never ends for me.
But yeah, leading into that, with you doing summer classes and all, the next question is, what are our goals for the school year, both academically and for the podcast itself? You want me to go first?
I can start. I guess my academic goal is really just to graduate. That's the goal. It's really just to graduate and move on.
Are you on track for like this year, or is it
I am
further?
like in the cusp, I would say. Like if I'm taking max credits, 18 credits this semester.
So if you did it both this semester and next semester,
so I would. My plan is right now is to graduate in the summer.
Okay.
Because that's been a plan for like a while now. So I'm graduating in the summer, but I will still be my goal is to be able to walk in the spring, but get my diploma in the summer.
Okay, you can do that.
I think I've heard cases that if you're close to the amount of credits, we can walk, but you still have to take classes over the summer thing. Because my parents are flying up from down south to see me walk on a stage with 400 people.
That is true.
So I don't want to disappoint them. So much money.
Yeah, that is true. I always thought that like if I had like the option to like opt out for like, or to like opt and just like finish in like the fall.
you don't need to do graduation. Usually the graduation is just for like to go on the walk and like
but the thing is, I think like
have the experience,
at least for like my family, like they love like the like that, like getting degrees, the achievement, but like the achievement in their eyes is seeing you walk. You know what I'm saying?
Like in like big audience.
Yeah, like the big audience.
Have the public see you.
Yeah, like you get the diploma, whatever. The whole like, I don't know what the word is, but just the whole like event of it all. That to me is like there, because like if you do, let's say that like a regular school and like, or like a regular university and like an online university.
Yeah.
If you both will get like essentially, let's say they're both even, you essentially get the same degree.
Yeah.
But a family, they want to see after 4 years, they want to see their kid walk. And,
I mean, that's what the COVID kids did when in 2020. The class
well,
of 2020.
I feel like that's why some of them feel so uptight because they didn't get that like celebratory type of like event for themselves where they can kind of be like,
because my main motion from graduating is really just to wear a cap and gown.
Yeah,
because I went to a private school for high school, so we were a military academy in the past, but we switched to like international boarding school type thing. So we had to wear, our dress code was literally, I'm not joking, but they really specified the colors, or we were not allowed to walk for graduation.
Damn.
Our pants had to be white, not cream, not eggshell, but it had to be white, and then a navy blazer.
Okay.
A black tie with no design.
Okay.
And then a light blue shirt. Not a sky blue, but a light blue. I had to say light blue on the tag.
Like did the school even have like places for you to get the things, or they just
we had to buy our own stuff for graduation.
But they weren't like example photo, like go to Express or like Old Navy or something.
They gave us no examples. They usually the high schools usually give you the option to buy it from them, but given that we were from a private school, they started to buy it ourselves. And then we didn't have cords or anything. We had flowers. So honor students got yellow flowers. Regular students got orange flowers. I got an orange flower.
Beautiful. Love to see it. That's okay. You graduate. That's all that matters. Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Just like with the cords and everything. Like, I like when I was like in high school, like I really wanted to strive for like getting like honors or whatever. But then when I got to college, I was like, as long as I walk,
That's true.
I don't care.
Companies don't care if you have honors or anything, as long as you're able to do the work.
I really feel like I feel like, at least for me, like in terms of like the technicality for like the jobs that I want, I will probably never be hired strictly based off of like my skills. Like I'll never be like, you look at me and you're like, this dude's like the best person. I feel like I'm gonna be like a personality hire. Like they're like, oh, he can do the work, but like probably not like the best person out of like the list, but like we also like him. Like he's very personable.
That's true.
I feel like that's the way
you see some people who work at companies, they quit after a year for not like they don't want to like the environment's not for them.
I
like,
guess.
Gotta fit in.
Yeah.
Gotta be able to vibe with the people.
I guess that's true. But like I don't know. So like at least for like my degree, like I want to work in terms of like video games and like esports. So, you know, I just hope I match the vibe for that. Cause like I think when I was a little kid, I was a very like a nerdy type of person. So like I love video games, right? Like didn't even matter what I played. But now I feel like I've got to the point where like I have an appreciation for it, but I barely play it.
Not me neither. Yeah, I mean you don't. I have a Switch, but I don't play it often because school's a little busy.
Yeah,
I don't even play if I'm really that bored.
Yeah, so yeah. All right. So you talked about your academic one. Are there any goals for the podcast that you think that we should have? And it can just be like relating towards like what we did previously or like what you saw us do previously.
I'm not just completely sure. I haven't really thought about it. Well, because I was like kind of like a pseudo tech boy last year. I was in the behind the scenes, running, checking the sounds, pressing the button to start the timer again for recording.
There it is. Stanley was our secret third member. And then graduated to being co-host because like it was gone. But it's okay. I think at least for me for the podcast, I just want to like one of the things that like I'm sad that we didn't get to do for the like e-board of last year is we didn't get to interview all of them. And especially Aggie and Jason. Aggie had already graduated. Jason's still on the board this year, so I'll definitely make sure that we get him as a host or a guest. But I just felt kind of sad that like Aggie was a part of like creating the podcast with us as well, and she didn't get to get on the podcast because of our like I was working a lot and just scheduling and whatnot wasn't that good. So I definitely want to get more people involved in the podcast. And also, like, branch out to the other student orgs. And let's just talk about anything and everything with them. So.
True. I would say my goals would be your goals since, it's your last year. Yes. Well, supposed last year. Yeah, let's hope it's your last year. It will be your last year.
Yeah. I've learned that like I can't nonchalantly always be like, if it happens, it happens. I will graduate.
That's a good mindset.
There it is.
That's the mindset.
So I'm coming in with that mindset. I need to be. School's tough, man. It'll mentally drain you. So I just need to keep in high spirits and just do my work, and I'll be walking across that stage.
Yeah. For those just starting college or those starting like sophomore year, people lie to you. This shit does not get better.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It does not get better.
It doesn't get better, but it's okay. I think everybody. There's not gonna be like a cookie cutter way of like everything being like the way it should be. You're gonna have the ups and downs, but as long as you're doing you and you're figuring out as you kind of, because when you're in college, you're also evolving as an adult slowly. So you'll be able to figure out how you should go about things. But just I feel like your mentality will shift as you go from like freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, whatever. So try to adapt to
try to enjoy enjoy your time.
Yeah, balance everything,
because the adult world is not so fun. I've learned because I work at a dental office. I've told Mike this before, but I work at a dental office as a dental assistant. I have some days where they're short and they're easy, but some days I'm working like 5-6 hour shifts and just looking at bloody teeth all day. Not like greatest time of my life, but
are you the person with the hose?
Yes, I am I am the person looking into your mouth, trying to suck up all the saliva and blood in your mouth.
The best. That's
and
the
just
best.
giving the dentist the tools to pull your teeth out.
Beautiful. Oh man. Are there any like stories that like are interesting from your time working there so far, or is it just everything you imagine? Does anything surprise you?
Actually, this job was actually my first job because before coming to college, I worked because my parents own a restaurant, so I worked there from like, well, I was helping my parents from ages 7 to like 13, and then they started paying me.
There it is.
So I was working my parents' restaurant up until high school, and then
Okay.
a little bit after freshman year in the summer.
Hmm.
So this is my first, I guess, job outside of the restaurants. My first like part-time job.
Okay.
I mean, I enjoy it. It's very fun. I enjoy the work.
Okay.
I enjoy the patients. Well, some of the patients. Most of my patients are very old because we do a lot of fake teeth. So
Okay.
I get a lot of 60-year-olds and 70-year-olds. I get a lot of butterscotch every now and then.
Are fake teeth like they call veneers?
They call it
or
crowns.
Crowns.
Fake crowns that
Okay,
cover
gotcha.
your dead teeth.
What's a veneer? Is
I
that
have no idea. I don't
Oh.
even do veneers in our place.
Oh, okay.
But work with a lot of 70-year-olds, 60-year-olds because
That's okay.
I get free butterscotch every so often. So I mean that's a plus.
Wow.
But
Beautiful.
it's a fun job. I mean, I get interactive with. I meet a lot of pit people, like a lot of pit parents,
Okay.
because a lot of locals come there.
Okay.
So I know a lot of pit moms.
Is it
Coincidentally,
is the place that you work at like a local like mom and pop type?
I
of,
work
like,
in.
restaurant?
Oh, for those who are from Pittsburgh that are watching, I work in South Hills Village Mall,
Mhm.
like in Upper St. Clair. So we're located in the bottom of the mall,
Okay.
the basement.
Okay.
It's very hot down there.
All right. It's kind of interesting having a dentist in the mall. Well, I guess that's kind of like smart because like if you have your kid, you leave them there, you get bored, just go shopping, pick them
Yeah,
up.
I mean, people shop before they come in and stuff, and like, and we're close to Target. That's a great place to get off work. There's food in the food court.
And there it is.
There's a
There it
Target
is.
like right next door.
Mm.
Everything's
Very
there.
nice, very nice, very nice. Yeah, I guess to go off of like work and stuff. So you've only worked at your like family's place plus this dentist
Basically,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't know. I've had a lot of random jobs now that I think about it.
Yeah, I think for those, like for me, like for like the I guess like kids who have parents that own restaurants are like a little special case where they have to work there. Because my sister did part time at 421 her senior year in high school,
Okay.
but
Okay.
it was just working. She was still working at the restaurant, so it was like working part time at the mall and the restaurant. So it was like constant back and forth. So it didn't work out that well. So I eventually just did the restaurant again.
Yeah, that's not
So for us, the restaurant is our only choice. I would say.
When I was like, I think up until the time that I think I turned 6 or 7, my family owned like a convenience store in a mall. So I would always be at the mall just because they would work there.
Like a it's like a store, like a food court.
Just like not like a food court type thing, but just like a convenience store in terms of like snacks or whatever at the mall, like a snack store.
Yeah.
So like I remember it was really weird like growing up in that type of environment because I thought it was normal. Cause like I'd go to school, you talk to like the kids around you, and they'd be like, "So what do you do like after school?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I go to the mall like every day." And they're like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like my parents work at the mall, so I just stay at the mall and I go to like the playground place for like an hour or whatever."
It's 20 minutes.
Right, back to the topic of malls, but yeah, like growing up, like I think at least in like social media or whatever, like I'm like seeing kids who kind of have like the same shared experience, whether it's like you growing up and like working or like being in like a restaurant or just being like your parents own a shop or whatever and you're always there. I like when I was younger, like I thought it was normal, and then like a little bit as growing up, I realized it wasn't. But then when social media kind of pops up, you can kind of see that it might be not like so normal than you think, but there are a lot of kids.
Yeah, it's not like normal where you are, but it's all over there.
Like it'll happen everywhere.
You'll see kids like doing math homework in a booth in a restaurant.
That
was literally me. I did algebra in in 8th grade in my parents' restaurant at the buffet, just crying and just doing math. Great times.
Beautiful. I remember I used to bring a GameCube to the mall, but like I'd be playing the GameCube on like the shopping area floor of like the convenience store. So they would it would be like like you'd enter, and then on the side is like the checkout area, and there's like little like shelving aisles with like candy and sweets or whatever, and then at the very back, right next to like a little like section of like magazines, is just a small little Asian boy playing like a GameCube, and I was like, I would always get questions. They're like, "You having fun, little kid?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." But it was also weird because like right next to us was a GameStop, and I don't know why I brought the game. I think I got so bored of playing like the like preview games that they had in like the game stop that I just ended up bringing a GameCube to the store. And my parents were okay with it because keeps me from asking them to do stuff. So yeah, fun times.
Yeah, those are rough times for me. I did not enjoy my time in the restaurant at all.
That's okay. It happens. But yeah, I guess to go on like a list of like the jobs I've had, other than like being a kid growing up in like a like convenience store type of thing. My first job was I was a bagger at a grocery store for about a year, and then I worked at Staples for about 3 months. And then after that, I worked at Macy's.
Interesting.
I worked at Macy's for 2 years.
What was your position at Macy's?
I was the person who was like unloading and offloading stuff from
so like I guess like pack and like the
I was like a pack.
but like behind the scenes, kind of like the new shipments and stuff.
Yeah, I was like the shipment packer boy, and we would just offload like clothes and put them in each department. And then like maybe like 4 months into that, I'd be working in like the men's department area, and they literally just like told me one day, they were like, "Hey, you're not a packer anymore." They're like, "You're working in men's now," and I go, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, you're gonna be." I was like, "Am I like a cashier now?" And he's like, "No, you're just like the on floor like stalker person for the men's areas." So then for the next like a year and like 8 months or whatever, I was just on the shopping floor stocking stuff, and it was very chill. It was I also worked at security in Macy's for like 2 months.
The security in Macy's?
Yeah.
Not other just
no,
the,
like
the
thing. The theft people who like like the people who put like the tags plus the people who like monitor the screens or whatever.
Oh yeah.
I was there. I was working as security for 2 months. It was very. I didn't get to arrest anybody, which is kind of.
I don't think anyone would steal from Macy's.
Nah, people do. I did. I did. I won't say how much, but I did. I did. But yeah, I was there. My next job after that was when I first got to Pitt. I worked at Pitt News, and I was a video booth operator.
To a sound guy.
No. So, like at Pitt for clubs or whatever, they could rent out like a
the equipment,
like stuff. A camera booth.
Yeah.
So I was just the person who dragged the camera booth to the like events, placed props, and just stood there and just waiting for everybody to be done. So that was an interesting job. I only did it for I technically did it for a year, but like that was the COVID year. So I did it for like the semester and like half
year.
of it.
Or like your junior year.
Yeah, junior. But yeah, so I did that. It was very, very interesting job, but I don't think I will ever do that again. I think I'm still listed as like a worker there because like I get like emails from Pitt that are like, "Hey, change your blah 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 blah," and I'm like, I haven't done anything for you guys for like 2 years. But yeah, it was a fun job. After that, I worked at Target as an overnight stalker.
That sounds awful.
That was really bad. Well, that was like peak COVID. So like, I thought in my mind, I was like, oh, like I get to work where like it's only like your coworkers and nobody else. And this was peak COVID. So I was like, you know what? I'm not trying to get sick.
Wasn't it hard for you to like, school? Even it was online.
That was definitely one of the factors that like fucked me up because I would go to work at 10 p.m. and I'd work until 6 or 7 a.m. And then I typically would have class start at like 9 or 10.
So you did not sleep.
So I would not sleep. And if I thought that I could have like a nap in between, I would always like end up waking at like 3. And like I'd miss like more than half my classes. And it really fucked me up. Yeah, that was the start of my terrible habit of like prioritizing work over school. And it did not go well for me at all. And that is why I'm a super senior. But yeah, did that for a year. Learned my consequences. And then fast forward to my current but not so current job, or previous whatever.
Most recent.
Most recent. There it is.
Most recent
Boba
job.
boy.
Boba boy.
Boba boy. I think I was a great boba boy. I don't think. Well, so like if you look at like TikToks and like the boba-esque content or whatever, every single time I look at the people who work at like boba shops, I just go, I'm not that person. Like if you walk into a boba shop and you see me, like you.
But also like this is the East Coast. West Coast boba shops are very different. I feel like because I feel like TikTok boba, like boba TikTok is like very West Coast based, like Orange County, like Irvine based TikToks.
I guess
higher end shops.
Well, like okay, so like to your like point, like there are like the bougie places and there's kind of like
there's some
like the smaller. Like
not so much in Pittsburgh, but other.
Well, yeah,
other
but
states.
like, but even for like the smaller, like not like bougie-esque places, the places that are just kind of like they got okay type of boba or whatever. Yeah. I still look at the people who work there and I go, I wouldn't like you're not gonna see me in here. I think most of the people for like the first 6 or whatever months, I didn't tell people I worked at the boba shop.
I didn't know either.
Yeah, I didn't tell anybody. The only time people figured it out was that I'd have coworkers who are friends of friends, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I work with Michael," and like Michael Pacifico. I'm like, they're like, "Yeah, he work at Boba," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then I'd either get texts or they'd show up and be like, "Why didn't you tell me this?" And I go, I didn't think I'd last this long. I thought I'd only worked there for like 3 months. Yeah, I like my first day working there. I was like, I mean, as long as they don't fire me, I'll stay. But I thought I was getting fired like the second week. Not because like I couldn't do the work. I just thought like I was such a like unfriendly face.
I think the mask always.
Well, yeah, the masks. I pretty much would wear exactly this, but I put a mask and have like long pants. But like, I just tried to make myself as like non-threatening as possible. Because, your boy's got like just a tiny, like, resting bitch face. Just a small one, But, hey, man, if people think you're like mean or just look terrible, they're not going to tip you. So
that's true. Especially in the boba business.
Yeah, exactly.
You need that innocent face.
Boba's for the aesthetic and the nice looking. And, I'm not that. Oh, I totally forgot this one job. I used to work at a Korean restaurant.
Here?
Yeah. I used to work at Green Pepper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I did not see that.
Yeah, you didn't see that. I got a lot of jobs, man. But yeah, I worked there for 4 or 5 months. So the reason I say this is because we're talking about aesthetics and looks. And so I applied to be a dishwasher there. And there was like 8 other people there looking for the job. And I was like the last person to like say like what I did, work experience or whatever. And everybody was like, oh, I worked in kitchens for like 20 years, 10 years, 5, 3, 1, all these numbers, years of experience. And then it gets to me and I'm like, oh, I've never worked in a kitchen before. But I'm just like, I'm really motivated. And they're like, and then the boss is like this Korean man. He just goes, oh, very nice, Michael. Very nice, very nice. And I go, oh, thank you. And then like literally the next day, I like sleep in and it's like 11 or something at this point. And I get this call and like, I'm like face down in my like bed and like I wake up and I'm like, ugh, and I look at the phone and I answer and I go like, hello. And I hear this Korean man talking. He goes, is it a bad time? And I go, who is this? And he goes, oh, my name is like Kevin. My name is Kevin. I own Green Pepper. And I go like, no, it's good. Well, like I thought I was getting like fired or like being told like
fired before he got
the job. I thought like, he was going through the list and being like, all right, I just gonna say like, we're not gonna proceed with your application or whatever. But I wanted to be nice. So I was like, hello. And then he goes like, hey, is this Mike? Like, this is Michael, right? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, you got the job. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, you got the job. And I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, when can you start? And I was like, I can start tomorrow if you want. And he's like, all right, see you tomorrow.
And what was the previous job before this dishwasher?
Before this, so this was in between Well, this was while I was working at Macy's. That's why I forgot. Like there was a summer where I was working 2 jobs over the summer. But yeah, that was in between my Macy's time, and I got hired. And the first day or the second day, I'm working. I'm cleaning dishes, whatever. My boss comes up to me, and he like at the end of the shift, whatever, you get food. Like the chefs will cook you whatever. So like he hands me his plate, I'm cleaning it, and then he's like, "Hey, Michael, so like how do you feel about the job?" And I'm like, "Oh no, it's good. Like everybody's nice here." And he's like, "Are you getting along with everybody?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm getting along with like the wait staff and everything." And he's like, "All right, what about the chefs?" And I go like, I don't really talk to the chefs a lot. I don't really understand them. They're Mexican, by the way.
That makes sense.
The head chef is Korean, and then her sous chefs are Mexican.
Same at my restaurant. Yeah. A lot of them are Mexican.
And they barely spoke English, but I try my hardest. And then he's like, "Don't you speak like native tongue?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm not Mexican. I'm Filipino." And he goes, Filipino. He's like, when I hired you, I thought like, you'd have like this synergy with the chefs because you're Mexican. But he's like, and then he goes, "But you're Filipino. That's okay."
It's just a little bit racist.
And then I go, "Yeah, I'm sorry." And he goes, "It's okay. It's all right." He's like, "You're a good worker." And I go, "Oh, thanks, man. Thank you."
A little segue, actually. I took 3 years of Spanish in high school because my dad wanted me to learn Spanish in order to communicate with our workers in the restaurant.
There it is.
Why?
Did anything stick with you? Like even proficient?
Nope. I dropped Spanish after junior year. I hated it. It's not for me. But, Spanish 2 honors? Nope, not for me.
That's okay. That's all right. But just to wrap up the story, so I was hired at this Korean place because they thought I was Mexican. But like 2 months in, like I realized like I wasn't gonna be able to like work that job plus Macy's and then school starting as well. So I was like, I told my boss, I'm like, "Hey, I can't work here like after the summer's over." And like I'm expressing like why and whatnot. And he's like, "Are you sure you don't want to like move to like being a waiter?" And I go, I don't really know. Like I really haven't done like wait staff or like been like properly working in like a restaurant. So like I'm not like very comfortable." And I remember his words go, he goes, like there's not a lot that you have to do. He's like, you just have to, he's like, just make sure that you shave a little bit and then your face, you just kind of, and then he does this thing where he mimics my face around and he just kind of goes like, kind of just, never mind. You can, that's okay. And I think he just didn't want to say like, you just need to get like prettier or something. Prettier. You just need to get like a more attractive or something. And I remember I was like, "Oh, I think you just called me ugly." But I was like, "Oh, I guess as long as I, spoke my mind and like, got everything out of it." I was like, "Okay." And my last day, I'm pretty sure I was like 20 or something. I tell him it's my last day. He completely forgets. And he goes, "Oh." And he looks around in his office, and then he goes, "Give me 1 second." And then he goes to this like this closet thing. He opens it up, and it's just rows of 6-packs of like random beers. And then he just goes, he pulls one out and he hands me it. And I'm like 20 at the time.
Oh my God.
And I go, "Oh," and he goes, "Well, thank you for working for me." I go, "Thanks, thank you." And then I used to live on Murray, where that place is.
What was this, like sophomore year?
This was.
Oh, we transferred.
Yeah, this is community college, but
yeah.
I used to live on Murray there. So I just remember walking down Murray with like this like 6-pack.
What beer was it?
I don't know. It was like, I remember it was like an IPA or whatever, but I didn't like it at all. But I was like, fuck. I was like, I can't look like a weirdo, but like, when you're like younger, you always try to look older or whatever. But like at that very moment, I was like, I just thought like everybody knew I was like not 21. Like, bro, look at this kid. Look at this kid. But yeah. So just to talk about the whole aesthetic and boba or whatever, that's kind of my frame of reference in terms of working at a boba shop.
I mean, I've been to Green Pepper. There's like maybe one waiter now.
Really?
They completely switched their
like restaurant style. It's like all like the water plates and everything are self serve, and like you order at the cashier now, then they bring it to your table. So there's like maybe one or two waiters now, which is weird. Because I went there.
I gotta go back.
I went there last fall, I believe.
Last fall.
Once, because I don't tend to eat Korean food in the city because it's a little pricey on the pricier end.
A lot of the Korean restaurants here are just hella priced.
It's only
there's green pepper, Cobra,
green pepper, Nakman, and Korean Garden,
and Cobra.
Well, Cobra I feel like it's
KBBQ, so
like not worth the money.
Yeah,
it's like overpriced.
There's also one near Cobra itself.
Oh,
I think it's called Soji.
Well, that's also expensive.
Yeah, that is also expensive.
Well, there's also now the new one this year. It's K-Town, the snack bar.
Oh, right there.
It's pretty good actually.
You went? Okay. All right.
Cheaper than cheap Korean food.
Okay.
Well, cheaper side.
Is it like?
It's kind of like the Boonsik, the Korean food truck.
Okay.
It's kind of like that, but like store style. But they also have like a oishi bento kind of bowl and like Korean corn dogs.
Okay.
The spicy rice cakes.
Okay.
So, like street food.
Look, man, I think
I can work there.
Look, man, I don't think nobody wants to go to a Korean store and see my face. So I don't think I'm making the tips. Well, I
have no idea actually.
I was about to say, do they even get tips?
They do get tips.
They do get tips.
I think it's like
I'm not making.
I don't know how it works, but
I'm definitely not making any of those tips.
I went there once. I went there last week. I went there once.
But yeah, I don't know. We've kind of gone over like the amount of time that I thought that we'd go for. How much time we got left?
I'd say like 10 minutes.
10 minutes. I mean, do you have anything else to say? I can go on, but like I know
I can go on too. But I mean, it's just. We'll save some of the.
Yeah, I know that
we'll save some of the other topics for later episodes.
Yeah, some of the questions I have that we could go off of already branch into like topics that we have for guests. So I don't want to go into those, but I guess to summarize a lot of things, season 2, Chismis Corner. We want to talk about everything and anything. I don't care if it's food, sports, Filipino anything, relationships, whatnot. If you're down to talk about it, I am too.
Should we do a little poll in the near future? Ask for topics that people want to talk about?
I think we should poll for people for topics, and I think also I don't know how we would do this, but if we can reach out to every single like student organization under ASA, out of ASA, if you
or any organization that's interested in
any organization,
conversing.
If you want to talk, gossip, Chismis Corner, we're all about it, and we'd be 100% down to have you guys as guests. But do you have anything else to add on?
I think that's it for me.
All right, well, thank you guys so much for watching episode 1 of season 2, the Chismis Corner podcast, brought to you by Pitt FSA. My name is Michael Pacifico.
I'm Stanley Lin,
and thank you for watching. Goodbye.